reconvene?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Jackie?
Aye.
Okay. At this time, Jackie, would you like to lead us in the pledge this evening?
Sure, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence for our military, please.
We're going to stand for a moment of silence with our military and servicemen and women. Thank you.
Will the district clerk please call the roll?
We have Mrs. Kennedy,
Present?
Dr. Adams,
Present.
Mrs. Mallon,
Present.
Mrs. Napolitano-Furno,
Present.
Mrs. Hutchinson,
Present.
Mr. Hauser,
Present.
Mr. Kolahifar,
Present.
Mr. Middleman,
Present.
and we have Mrs. Augulus joining us via Zoom.
Okay, at this time, before I go any further, I'd like to tell our parents of the fifth grade students in idle hour that we will be keeping the teacher that you presently have. So now you don't have to be stressed. If you want, you can leave.
But feel free to stay, feel free to stay.
Okay, we're moving on to policy. I call for a motion to accept in a second, to accept the first reading of the policies as presented. Any discussion? Motion.
Mylon made a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, I need a motion and a second to accept the minutes of the November 9th, 2021 Board of Ed meeting. Motion?
Motion.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion so carried. At this time, I'd like to pass the mic over to the superintendent.
Is this on? Yes, it is. So we are truly blessed in the Connecticut School District to be able to present our students with a very well-rounded education. We are extremely strong in our academics, in our arts, and in our altruism when we give back to our communities. Tonight, we get to celebrate our athletes because we had an amazing fall season, and we would like to present some of our more recognized athletes who Mr. Mallory will explain a little bit more. But we are truly blessed in Connecticut to have these offerings for our kids and to have such amazing kids who rise to every challenge that we put in front of them. So please give a welcome to Mr. Mallory.
Face the board.
Thank you, Dr. Adams. And before we start, I'd just like to do a very brief recap of our amazing fall. I think Dr. Adams was on point. I have only been here 2.5 years, but it's my understanding this was one of the best fall seasons Connecticut has had in a very long time. So we had over 483 athletes participate. That's some of the highest participation rates we've had for any one season. Out of those athletes, we had 229 were scholar athletes recognized by New York State, maintaining a 90 average or better. Okay. Out of the 12 fall teams, 10 of those teams were scholar athlete teams, meaning 70% of the roster had to maintain a 90 average or better. And 11 of those 12 made the playoffs and made deep playoff runs. So the way I always try to hope and look and evaluate our program is kind of 4 criteria. Do we have high participation? We did. Did we get it done in the classroom? We did. When I say we, I'm talking about the coaches and obviously the kids and the coaches helping these kids and the parents' support. Sportsmanship-wise, we did it with class. We won numerous sportsmanship awards, and we were competitive. We do want to compete on the varsity level. So I do feel that our kids, our coaches, with the support of this administration, this board, our central administration, our parents, we just had a great time and did really well this fall. So congratulations to all the teams. So it would be impossible to recognize every athlete or team that won some kind of award. So to be recognized at this level, we do kind of keep it to anyone who either won a championship or obtained some kind of state qualification. I'd like to start with a varsity girls soccer player who could not be here, Lainey Schmidt. She was a 4-year, yep, Lainey's not here, right? Just want to make sure. So Lainey's a 4-year varsity starter, 3-time All-County player, 2-time All-Long Island, 2-time All-State her junior and senior year after going through ACL surgery as a sophomore. Okay, so she's a 2-time All-State player. That's why we're honoring her tonight. She is attending Marist, the Division I soccer program in the fall. Congratulations, Lainey Schmidt.
Mr. Mallory,
Yes.
sorry, I have a message for Lainey.
Okay, great.
I've known Lainey since kindergarten, so if I get a little emotional because she's truly amazing. I have been truly blessed to have the best coaches and the most amazing teammates the past 4 years. As a T-Bird, it is overwhelming to be recognized as a Suffolk County Girls Soccer All-State for Connecticut. I want to thank you personally for believing in the importance of sports programs and know that your investment in the girls soccer program is changing lives for the better. It is truly an honor to receive this award as a Connecticut T-Bird. Respectfully, Lainey Schmitz.
And moving on to our swimming and diving team, which they are always very competitive. The divers really had a special year. Coach Schiebler, our diving coach, could not be here. He's actually away. He's out of state, but he would like me to read this. The girls' diving team this year had a tremendous season. The team swept the diving event in every dual meet of the season. 4 of the 5 girls qualified for the county championship, and 3 of our girls qualified for the New York State Championships. This has never been done in Suffolk County. With us tonight are sophomore Lara Booth Olam, who medaled at states with a 14th place finish and earned all-state honors. Morgan Cassidy, our only senior on our diving team, twice broke the Connecticut school record this year, as well as qualified for states and placed 16th, also medaling and earning all-state honors. Morgan was also presented with the Section 11 Sportsmanship Award out of all Suffolk athletes at the state meet. Morgan will continue diving next year at Division I Marist College. Congratulations to this dream team diving team. So you girls want to come up? Morgan and Lara. And now we'd like to call up our head soccer coach, John Zimbrisky, to talk about an individual who made all-state honors. As Coach Z comes up, I'd just like to say that every season, there's usually kind of one team that sort of propels the whole season. Everybody gets behind regardless of what their interests are. And the soccer team, it was just tremendous. This is the best season they had in 11 years. They got to the county semifinal. Quite frankly, they were better than the team, unfortunately, they lost to. With some technical officiating issues, but they persevered. And what we talked to all the athletes about this fall is trying to have a positive response to adversity. That was kind of the theme. And I think our coach, Coach Zambrisky, exemplified this because he has gone through some very serious adversity in his own life and has kept coaching. And I think our kids recognized it. And just want to thank you, Coach, because that was just a hell of a job this year, man. Come on up.
Thank you to the board, and thank you, Mr. Mallory. We had an exceptional athlete propel us to the best season, as Mr. Mallory said, in 10 years, making it to the county semifinals for the first time in 20 years. We had some long, struggling years. This guy came in as a ninth grader, as a 4-year starter, and right off the bat propelled us to a competitive program for all 4 of those years, and this year we did some damage. We made all conference honors in the last 2 seasons, all county the last 2 seasons, all state this year. Not only all state, but to top it off, going one step farther, all region, in which there were only 6 players of Suffolk County chosen. He was one of those 6 players. He led the team in scoring these past 2 seasons, he's our team captain. He's our leader. And I said it to the boys in our awards night. You kind of watch a guy for 4 years and you don't get it. And he just dominates. He steps on the field, brings his game to the pitch, and you wonder, like, am I taking something for granted today? And it was hard to find the words. But then when you talk to other coaches and they immediately speak so highly of him and what he can bring and the speed and pace and technical ability he plays with is definitely outstanding. Kevin, his honor is well-deserved, not only from the Suffolk County Coaches Association, but from your teammates. And I speak on behalf of the boys soccer program. This is a large congratulations to you and your family for many years of dedication and success. Best of luck, Kevin.
Okay, last but certainly not least, I would like to call up our varsity head gymnastic coach, Renee Guerreri. Coach, can you come on up? And as Coach comes up, I'm sorry to say this was her last year. She is leaving us. She's just an outstanding person, first. She cares about kids. It gives me great pleasure when I'm able to look parents in the eye and say, this coach cares more about your kids than winning. She's a class act. So there's some quick accolades I will read, but the accolades do not capture when I walk in the gym and I watch gymnastic practice, how she carries herself, how she speaks to our student athletes, the expectations, the accountability, the nurturing, the support. She's an incredible role model. She is I don't know what your exact title is, Coach CFO or Chief Controller or CEO of a major company, and takes her time to come in and to lead our young athletes. She was a great gymnast herself with a great coach that was here forever, Vera Trular, and she kept the program going, and she kept the tradition alive. The pride is there. You can feel it. She's captured 3 league championships, 3 county runner-ups. She's had numerous individual county championships and numerous state qualifiers over her, I believe it's 13 years, 15-year career. Like I said, she's class, she's role model, she's a great mentor, and she's prepared these kids for life. And finally got the county championship, led this team to the county championship last year, and led Suffolk County. and led Suffolk County to the Long Island Championship with plenty of T-Bird gymnasts on that team last year. So, Coach G, we're going to miss you, really. Okay, come on up.
Thank you, everyone. That was so sweet. That title we captured last year, we waited 31 years to do it, so it was so sweet when we got it. I'm honored to be here today just to recognize the 4 athletes on our team that qualified for the state meet, which is going to be in the beginning of March. We have Alex. Are the girls coming up? Okay. We have Alex Melchiona, who was also. Alex is just a rock star. I want to kind of talk about them quick as a group, but Alex won all-around county championship title, which is a huge deal. And in gymnastics, we have 4 events. She won first place on bars, she won first place on beam, she won first place on floor, and she just missed first on vault, but took second on it. But she swept that meet, which was so exciting because last year, like, she was just trying for it so hard, and she just missed it last year, but she deserved it so much. So this kid is a rock star here. You all should be in awe of her. We have her sister, Avery Melchiona, who is not here tonight, but she qualified for the state team as well as an 8th grader, which is a tremendous deal. And she is just the future of gymnastics as she's so young, and she is going to lead this team and help lead this team, especially next year when Alex is a senior, to do great things. We have Ariana Platty, who is another senior. Well, she's a senior, one of our seniors. And Ariana is just, I say it to her all the time, she's been a rock throughout her 6 years on the Connecticut Gymnastics program. She is so calm and cool. Like, I cannot wait to see what Ariana does with her life because she doesn't waver, she doesn't get nervous, she doesn't get frazzled. Like, life does not rock her boat in any way. This is a kid that you want to hire, you want to see her just do anything because she's going to do it so amazing. And I cannot wait to see what this next chapter of her life brings because she's awesome. And last but not least, we have Noelle Cutnella. She's another senior who is leaving as well. And Noelle and Ariana, I've had them since they were 7th graders. So I've seen Noelle from a little tiny baby. You know, to me, she was a little tiny baby. And I've just seen her grow into such a mature and elegant gymnast. And like Ariana, too, she has just been so consistent for this team and helped just be such a tremendous asset to this team's success. And she's one of those kids that you don't ever have to look at what she's doing, where she is, because if my back is to her, I know 100% that I turn around and she is doing her job. So these kids, it has been like, it's very bittersweet. It's been such an honor to coach them and to see them rise to such challenges and be so successful. I believe that every once in a while we get the opportunity to be a part of something truly, truly great. And Connecticut has blessed me for 15 years by allowing me to be a part of something so great and to be a part of these kids' lives and watch them because they have taught me, they have inspired me, they have changed me for the rest of my life. So I'm forever grateful to Connecticut.
Thank you so much for your time and giving us a chance to honor these kids. Thank you.
Thank you. At this point, we need our student government here this evening.
To begin, student government closed out their Thanksgiving food drive just prior to our Thanksgiving break. I would like to congratulate Ms. Foley's second period class for winning our homeroom competition. Instead of donating the non-perishable food items to Island Harvest as per a normal year, student government has decided to contribute these items to Mrs. Lux's food pantry, which is located directly in our high school. That will go back to district residents directly. Next up is our Winter Spectacular. This event was a huge, growing success. To start, I would like to thank Mrs. Napolitano for attending this event with full holiday spirit, as well as generously donating a generator to help illuminate our hundreds of displays. This light show has grown significantly and welcomed a total of 600 cars this past Friday. It also included over 300 student volunteers. The PTSA, class of 2022, 23, 24, and 25, as well as an abundant amount of miscellaneous volunteers, joined together to make this successful. The sophomore class took first place with their Grinch-themed display. The freshmen took second place with their Elf-themed display, with the juniors themed Polar Express and the seniors themed Frosty the Snowman following behind. Buildings and grounds, custodial and staff, and the Connecticut High School administration played a huge role in helping put this all together. I have one other highlight from this evening that is worth sharing. Throughout the course of the 3-hour event, over 100 cars paid it forward by paying for the vehicle behind them in addition to their own vehicle. This simple act of giving emphasized the importance and magnitude of the giving season. In the theme of giving, almost every single vehicle was generous enough to donate more than the $5 donation we asked for. For this, we have the entire Connecticut community to thank. This year, we made a strong point to invest in the future, and student government looks forward to expanding this event to persist and serve the Connecticut community indefinitely for years to come. Moving into the next short 10 days before our holiday break, student government has 2 events planned. Starting this Monday, the annual door decorating competition began and will be judged upon several categories, including creativity and holiday spirit. We are excited to see what the faculty and students of the high school come up with, as many doors have been adorned with elaborate displays already. This competition will run until Tuesday, December 21st, and our winners will be announced on Thursday, December 23rd. Lastly, we have our Holiday Spirit Week, which will occur the 4 days preceding winter recess. Monday will be Holiday Pajama Day, Tuesday will be your favorite holiday character day, Wednesday will be Ugly Sweater Day, and Thursday will be Candy Cane Day, where students can show their holiday and school spirit by wearing red and white clothing. After this Fall Spirit Week, we are anticipating a large and exciting amount of student involvement. On behalf of student government and the entire student body, I would like to wish all of you a happy, healthy, and joyful holiday season, and thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. I went to your Christmas parade. You did a great job.
Thank you so much. Thank
I'm
you.
very proud.
Thank
Those
you,
little
yeah.
kids were so excited. They really participated. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for coming. It was amazing. And just the light, and just all those people there, the lights themselves, and the light of the community, it makes you feel that certain kind of way. It makes it all worth it.
I just want to say thank you so much. I love it, and I can't wait to see it in the years to come. You guys did a great job.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
My pleasure. You don't want to stay for the next one, huh? That's very good. Anyone want to stay for the facilities report? Mr. Allen?
Thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the Facility Committee. So a few months ago, the Facility Committee had started reconvening on a regular basis to start looking at retiring debt service in the coming years and how we should look towards using that towards capital projects in future years. During those conversations, one topic came up in particular that I feel is necessary to reach out to the Board of Education at this point and start looking for guidance because it impacts a project that was already approved as part of the 2019 capital project. Within the 2019 capital project, the community authorized the raising of the OBMS fields so that we can continue to make sure that those are playable as opposed to dealing with some of the water issues that we constantly have there. A proposal was brought forth that involved considering turfing over the middle school fields, so putting turf at both middle school fields. If that was something that's going to be considered, I wouldn't necessarily move forward with the 2019 project. We talked about it at length last week at the facility meeting, and the feeling at that point was that we should not consider turfing at the middle schools at this point, and that we should move forward with just the project as it was approved in the 2019 project. That being said, the ultimate decision rests with the Board of Education and ultimately the community if they want to put that forward as a project to be further considered. I asked the Board of Education now, should I just continue moving forward with the 2019 approved scope of work, raising the OBMS fields to ensure that those are playable year-round? Or should we take that project off the table and further consider doing that work in the next capital project? Yes, the 2019 project was something that was designed by the architect already. It's been submitted to SED and it has been approved. That being said, it doesn't have to be done. The work is approved. If we are in agreement that it's something that we should be doing, I would take that information starting tomorrow, reaching out to contractors, reaching out to the architect, and securing the scope of work necessary to do the work this upcoming summer and make those fields playable for the fall.
If we don't agree to do it, the next time we can fix those fields is in 17 years, is that?
No.
No.
No. So there's a lot of different things in play. First and foremost, if we're able to go forward with another capital project, it's something that the board decides that they're willing to put out for resolution to the community, we would have to see, first of all, if that makes it into the final cut of scope of work. If it does, we then need to know whether or not the community is going to support it. If all those things take place, we would then be able to go forward and submit that work to SED and do it at any point moving forward. But there are a few variables that have to be approved and hurdles that have to be overcome before we get to that point. When we're talking about retiring debt service and the size of the project, that is retiring debt service from the 2002 to 2004 capital project. So we have a sizable amount of debt coming off in the next couple of years. And if there's capital work that's going to be considered, that would be the most opportune time since it will not result in an increase to the taxpayers at that point. That's not to say what's going to be in the final approval or whether the community would approve it, which I think is one of the reasons why the committee decided that moving forward with the work as it was approved was probably the better way to go.
What you're asking is the way that they propose the fields to be done is already approved. If we wanted to change it and make it turf, and that didn't go through, we have to wait 17 years. But it's proposed this way, and it's already approved, so we don't have to necessarily put OBM back into the next run that he's
Well,
proposing.
and please forgive me, but that's not 100% true either.
Right.
So the project is approved. So we either do the work as it's been approved this summer, or if we want to wait, or the board wants to wait to see what happens with the next capital project, it could be something that's done any following year as part of that original 2019 capital project as well. You have 10 years to complete work that's approved, so there's no great rush in the respect of doing it immediately, but the longer we wait, the more the cost will increase and more other variables come into play, and the fields aren't being addressed in the meantime. So I don't know if it's something that the board's comfortable discussing or talking about, or if it's something that we have to consider.
Well, if you want to discuss it now, I think we should just there's only so much money that we can allocate in this next bond that will not cost the community X more dollars. Am I right?
That is correct.
So I personally, going to some of the meetings, I think that the pool, which has been here since the beginning of time, definitely needs to be done. Our boilers need to be done. And with the heat, climate changing, our buildings are staying, are not appropriate for the times that we live in. They're too hot for too long for students. So we need air conditioning. So I think those are the three major things that can fit into that X amount of money that will not cost the district X amount of dollars. It won't raise your taxes, let's put it that way.
So those topics that you're bringing up, those potential projects are definitely been part of the cornerstone of all of the conversations that from the first day we met, looking at district-wide air conditioning in all classrooms and office spaces, upgrading the electrical service as need be, addressing roofs at the secondary schools since some of them are past their life expectancy, and a lot of this equipment, that new equipment would be going on the roofs, so it doesn't make sense to do the work twice. Boilers, select boilers, not all boilers, but select boilers in the district are definitely part of the project. The pool is definitely part of the project. Looking at replacing the stadium turf. That's a project that was done about 12 years ago. We're going to have to replace that in the next couple of years as well, doing it as part of the capital project and making sure we can get state aid on it and ensure that it's playable for the community. That's another project that's already part of the conversations as well. So that information I can share with the Board of Education. I think I've shared some of the spreadsheets up to this point already. And I do hope that in January I can present the project as the committee believes it should be presented to the Board of Education, so that the board can start making determinations whether they want to put it on the May ballot, and if so, what that scope of work would look like.
Can you please explain to the audience what the cost would be and how we're getting there to the district? If we just follow this plan.
Sure. So a few meetings ago, I met and spoke at a Board of Education meeting. We have approximately $5 million of debt service that is currently paying for previous projects that will be retiring in the 2013-2014 school year. That money, yes, it does represent a debt, debt to the district and a cost to the district, but there's also an offsetting state aid piece of it. So it is a perfect opportunity to take a look at the entire district's infrastructure and look at replacing that debt service with new debt service. It will not increase the tax bill to anybody, so it's an opportunity to do it at the best possible rate. This community gets 67% on the dollar in state aid, so it makes a whole lot more sense to do capital projects and capitalizing on the state aid as opposed to paying for the full share out of the district as emergencies occur. So being proactive, plan for it, and everything else. Another piece of funding that we have available, a couple of years ago, the district approved a energy performance contract. In the coming months, you're going to start seeing solar panels going up at three of the three secondary schools, Sycamore and Boston. There's also solar panels already on 4 of the other elementary schools, along with a host of other projects. But with those projects comes substantial energy savings. Utilities are going to be able to be reduced substantially. Between that and the debt service, we're looking at no increase to the budget, and therefore no net increase to the taxpayer, which would be the funding source for these additional proposed projects.
Any board members have any questions?
So it's kind of hard to give you a concrete answer on that, Mylan, and I apologize. But I would venture to say it's probably going to be in the neighborhood of 4 to 6 months. The entire, I can share with yourself and the board, but the entire pool is dated. It's been there for decades. The ventilation, lack of ventilation has caused all the chemicals, which are caustic in nature, to have negative impacts to the steel and the concrete structure. That's not to say that the pool is not safe, but I am telling you that in the coming years, we're going to see more and more maintenance to that pool, and we're going to see more and more times that the pool is down. And once again, being proactive, if we're going to keep a pool in the school district, we should do it with state money, where the state is paying for 2/3 of it. So I would venture to say 4 to 6 months to answer your question, but until we actually develop the scope of work, until we talk to the contractors, find out the availability of materials and all the other stuff that goes with it, it's kind of hard to be any more pinpoint accurate than that. Yeah, I will say, you know, from a facility perspective, the pool is in constant use. Fitting the community swim in has been a great thing. I think it's been a long time coming, but as we move forward, you're going to see it used more and more. But I can tell you that the pool is one of the areas, one of the spaces in the district that's used probably top 3 in the entire district. It's well utilized.
Any other questions?
Yeah, and I will summarize that for the Board of Education at a coming meeting when there's not a lot of other stuff on the agenda. But I do want to go back to the Facility Committee one last time, share with them, you know, what the conversations are here tonight, and also give them an opportunity to chime in one more time, because the amount of time that they've put into it is important to recognize. It's also important to recognize that they represent different cross-sections of the community, and their voice needs to be heard. And if they support it, if they approve it, that carries weight to their neighbors and their community. So I would like to have one more meeting with them after the first of the year and be able to present to the Board of Education, hopefully in the first or second meeting of January.
Okay.
But I don't know if I got any clear direction on the middle school fields at this point. Do I just stay with the 2019 scope of work?
Well, I feel as though there's so much that we do need, and that's already paid for in that scope of work. I personally feel as though we should just go with that. We desperately need it. We can't wait another couple of years to approve this and then wait. Those kids have been playing on dirt and mud and water for years now. That we have the opportunity to do it. Let's do it. And not put it in this,
A potentially
money.
future project.
but that's just me. I mean, there are other people who,
Understood.
I agree with Lee. I think that we should move forward.
Understood. And if you're looking for my recommendation, it would be my recommendation as well. There are not a lot of middle schools that have turf. While it would be a phenomenal asset to the community, I do believe that, you know, there are a lot of other things that warrant more attention than that at this moment. So that's 2 people that agree with the 2019 scope. Are there any other comments?
Mylan? Jackie?
I'm fine with it as well.
Thank you, everybody. Any further questions relating to facilities?
No, I think you did a great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now we're going to move on to Board of Ed topics. Let's start with the first one, unified sports expansion. I don't know who put that on.
I'm sorry, I was asking the attorney a question. Okay. Yes, last year, I just want to pull up what I had written. Last year, I had brought it up. I wanted to see an expansion, and I feel like it's something that got pushed aside, so I brought it up again in hopes that this time we can move forward a little bit more with it and add to it. So I added through board discussion, a unified sports expansion. Last year, I was vocal in advocating for bringing into Connecticut more programs like unified basketball which has by far become my favorite program and sport Connecticut has. It had such a powerful impact on me and many others that I was there with that were spectators. It teaches general ed students a sense of empathy, acceptance, and shows kindness to others like no other program I've seen in Connecticut. I love that it allows special ed students to feel a sense of belonging to a sport included in sports and help promote friendship among students in all different classes and on all different levels. I have requested last year that unified cheerleading be added as some other districts have been doing. This year I'd like to advocate to go a step further. I understand the high school has a best buddy program and the unified basketball program, but what do the middle schools have? I was wondering, and I think I spoke to Mr. Mallory and I have spoken to the superintendent in regards, I've sent several emails as well to the board to see what we can do at the middle school level to try to help students in special education feel that same sense of belonging and include them and involve them in sports programs and after-school activities like the unified program. Even if we had to add a special education inclusion sports club or something along those lines, if we don't already have something like that, which I don't think we do. I think I looked into that too. And I wanted to find out what other outlet our special needs community outside of their educational services we could do in the middle schools. I know that I had spoken to the director of special education as well in regards to it. Even if we just came up with something that started small and we made it bigger, but like I had said originally, the unified sports would be great to bring up to middle school. I know that right now we only have it in the high school, but it would be so great if we could do something at the middle school level.
Ms. Moore, are you looking for that at all, or?
So I have Ms. Mulray close in front of me, but I've been working with Ms. Mulray and Mrs. O'Hara to look into something like an intramural and start small at the middle school, potentially offering 5 sessions when the OBMS and non-conflict main gyms are open, which would be April, early May. I think that's the same as the unified is right now at the high school level. The only sport that's available for through Section 11 right now is basketball, although they potentially will be starting a bowling program next year, trying to expand it to other seasons. So as soon as I have a full picture of all the costs, because we do have quite a large special education program in the district, there are almost 240 kids between OMS and RMS that are in special education. So we would have to see how many aides we would need. We'd have to give a whole picture of what that might look like. If we need a nurse, if we need to go transportation at 4 o'clock, that kind of thing after the day. So we're working on putting that together for you, and we'll have a whole proposal with costs for you later, early next year in 2022.
Now, what about the cheerleading? The unified cheerleading, I thought they had already started that in other districts, or they were allowing that.
So right now, the only official Section 11 unified sport is basketball, but it's 99% sure that next year bowling is going to be ready to go. They've already reached out who'd be interested. Right away we responded, we're in. So as they unveil new unified programs through Section 11, we will most certainly sign up with the approval of Dr. Adams and the board. The unified cheerleading, people have said it's unified cheerleading, but it's been more sort of like an impromptu. For example, our coach, Hunter Weiser, she invited special needs kids to cheer with our kids. So we've had a unified kind of system going just within ourselves, and some other schools have done that as well. But there is no official unified cheerleading in Suffolk County right now. But again, we've done it ourselves, and that's why with your recommendation that we're putting together a plan for the middle school now. If Section 11 is not going to have something for the middle school, we can do it. And sometimes doing it in-house through the intramural model is better than traveling. I find that when right now we're doing our athletics for all for elementary school kids, and they don't travel to another school ever. We keep it in-house, but it's a great experience for those kids. So we do have it at the elementary. We have something in the high school we want to expand, and right now we are working on this project with your suggestion for the middle school. And I think it'll work out great in the spring, as I proposed to Dr. Adams, when there's plenty of room in the gym for the kids. And just one note on Unified, what I've learned the most, the kids that do not have special needs, officially do not have a special need, and work with these kids, they benefit just as much. And I'll be honest with you, when this started about 10 years ago in Nassau County, I never saw that coming. The kids that are working with those special needs students just reap so many rewards. So it's a good program.
Thank you so much, I appreciate it. Last year, I actually met the whole team, and it is true, there was one standout kid that came up to me and said to me that because of Unified, they had made so many friends that their graduation party wasn't going to be just a few kids. The whole team was going. And I just thought that was spectacular. I really was so nice. I highly recommend, when it comes in, for everybody who's out there and hears this, to definitely take a look. It's such a great program, really. Great job.
Okay, Marlon, you're up for cardiac screening for students.
And her team has started Beats for Liam. Her son, along with a few other parents, sadly, have lost their sons to cardiac. And so she had, and her team had ran the Beats for Liam, I'd say it was 3, if not 4 years. It was a great success. The first year, they had a little bit of a slower turnout. As the years progressed, their turnout became more noted and attended. So last year that the Beats for Liam was done, over 100 students had screened, and about 18% of those students were advised to go to a pediatric cardiologist for further testing. What is great about this is it gives you, they provided the EKG, there was a cardiologist there to leave the reports with the parents, and just a great team of volunteer parents that orchestrated this. And I can't thank them enough for doing this. I even dragged Jackie along one year to bring her children to get screened. I mean, she could tell you this was so well organized and very appreciated. And I'd like to know if Linda, if you have been in contact with his mom, and to see if we can do something maybe early this spring to bring back this program, Beats for Liam, because I think it's very important for every child to get an EKG baseline.
So my executive assistant reached out, and we will be meeting early next week with the folks from Beats for Liam. But in the meantime, before we had contacted them, the board had asked myself and Ms. Mallory, good thing you're here tonight, Ms. Mallory, to look into a way to do that for our athletes. And I'm happy to say that we met with the folks from Heart Screen New York, Mrs. Enkelpora and Mrs. Murray, both of whom are women who lost their children to sudden cardiac arrest. And they are willing to come next October. They do 2 school districts a year, and we will be one of their school districts next year. They will screen up to 400 students in one day. They bring about 100 folks to read EKGs, and they go one step further even than Beats for Liam could, because they actually have purchased their own echocardiogram machine. So if they see something on the EKG that is that may be abnormal, they immediately take that child and they put them into an echocardiogram, and a pediatric cardiologist actually reads the echocardiogram right there, so parents aren't nervous that there's a false positive on their EKG. So we've already secured that for next fall as well, or early in October. One of the days will be in October. And we're really excited to be able to present that to all of our athletic teams and anyone else in the district who would like to bring their child. It's 15 to 25 they screen, or 13 to age 12, I think, 12 or 13 to 25 they will screen. And we will do that by our teams and also anyone who wants to come in with an appointment. And we're really excited about that. And to be able to do it in the spring this year as well with Beats for Liam, it's just to protect our kids. And it's a wonderful
I heard the conversation you were having at Idle Hour. So I went ahead and had asked for the cost and where we could, how it would work. So I think Mr. Middleman, do you have an answer for us this evening?
So I don't have an exact cost for the 3D printers, but we are in the process of reviewing different specs for printers for all of our elementary libraries as well, including the middle school libraries, which will be updated within the next several months. So I will have someone give a final report to the board when those are ordered.
Okay, once again, thank you, Mylan.
Work that was done on the libraries. I am so happy that the community voted in to have elementary school libraries redone. It is absolutely gorgeous.
Okay, great. Now we're going to move on to transparency.
Okay. One of my concerns is transparency with the community. I think everyone knows since I brought it up at like the last several meetings. To the superintendent, why didn't you send an email to the parents in regards to the mask break guidance changing? Is there a reason why kids found out in schools?
We actually requested the COVID coordinator to send that out, and she did send it out to the community about 12 hours later than she sent it out to the faculty and staff, and I apologize for that delay.
Okay.
No, I'm not done, Lee, thank you. Let me just see where we're gonna start here. Hold on a second. I just want this to be put on the record. I would like to see more transparency and less dysfunction. I would like to see more solutions and people working together. I would really like to see more active leadership. That's what I would really like to see. And I think the community would like to see that too. I have one other question, and I think this is going to be for Reza, about the chaperones for the senior trip. I just wanted to get an idea for us, how many, and how many do we need? How many do you have, and how many do we need?
So we posted for 30 chaperones for the senior trip. That's what was requested. To date, we have 14 chaperones. We posted for that 3 times. Posted once for the teachers and then 2 other times for all employees of the district.
So anybody could pretty much, that works for the district, substitutes, security, anybody pretty much?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to ask. Thank you.
Okay. We're going to move on to public comments. I will open the floor for the first public comment portion of the agenda. This public comment period is for consent agenda items only. An additional public comment period will be held later in the meeting. So does anyone have any questions on consent agenda items? Okay, so we're going to move on. No, we're only doing consent agenda at the moment. Mark, we're only doing consent agenda at the moment. Then we're going to have another portion, and you get to have your comments afterwards.
So we can speak about it afterwards?
Afterwards, yeah, the second portion.
Mine is about the vaccine letter. Is that consent agenda?
What letter?
Vaccine letter?
Yes, it's on the consent
It's
agenda.
basically about
Yeah, can you stand up?
students getting vaccinated.
Correct.
Yeah?
Good evening. Hi, Dr. Adams. It's in regard to your email that you sent about trying to be proactive with the new governor's suggestion, or maybe about K through 12 students getting vaccinated. So I appreciate you sending that email to the public. That was very good. And you gave us letters or emails that we could send her to let her know our opinion. So my request tonight, and again, I'm going to do that. I'm going to call, I'm going to write. But my request is that all the superintendents, all the Board of Educations, the parents will fight and we'll write and we'll send our letters, but it's really up to all the superintendents in Long Island. It's really up to all the Board of Educations on Long Island. You're the ones that could say, no, we're not going to follow it, if it comes down. I'm only bringing it up because of your email. Hopefully, that will never happen and kids will never have to be vaccinated. And again, it just comes down to protecting our children. You have the right, people have the choice to get their kids vaccinated. That's great, I understand that, but you have to protect the students whose parents don't want them vaccinated. All right? So I just wanted to come tonight and make sure I said that. I also feel, remote learning shouldn't occur. That should never happen again. We all know that was a huge failure. Hopefully that never happens again. A suggestion, I love your robocalls, Dr. Adams. Maybe also doing a robocall suggesting parents to phone call and send emails to the governor. The emails were great, but some people might not see that. So also a robocall. So also, I guess while we're at it, the gymnastics team and the swim team, no one knows that they are state champions and county champions. Again, maybe a robocall to all people in the district living here, telling them about their accomplishments, because people don't know. So a robocall, everyone, even they don't answer, they just play their answer machine and everyone will know. All right, thank you.
Any other questions on consent agenda items?
I guess this is in regards to your vaccine email. To piggyback on Craig, in the end, your obedience is going to continue this nightmare. That's what it comes down to. In the end, your obedience to this will continue the nightmare, and you're the only people that can do anything about it. I found the reference to the cardiac screening very interesting tonight. Those numbers were shocking, and that goes right into the vaccine mandate. I almost found it darkly comical because I don't know how you could support doing that and then in the same sense support a vaccine mandate for our children. It's complete contradiction. It's totally contradictory. It's my duty as a parent to research and question everything for the sake of my children, not blindly trust. Probably never more apparent to me than when my vaccine-compromised son was foaming at the mouth, purple in the face with his eyes rolling back behind his head. Unfortunately, the doctors didn't subscribe to vaccine injuries. Okay, my concern is my children have had COVID. My children have some complications. Medical exemptions are pretty much nil. Religious exemptions have been nullified. So that lies my concern. So my challenge to you in your decision going forward with these possible mandates is I challenge you to provide to everybody data that supports, okay, the medical necessity to mandate this experimental gene therapy to our children, because it doesn't exist, okay? The mortality rate for children who are positive is 0. The only children who had succumbed to this disease had dire, dire medical conditions. So to mandate this for our children is absurd. And again, I thank you for your time. I hope you consider this and how you do it. And to reiterate, your obedience is the only thing that's going to, fix this nightmare.
Good evening. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to... I'm sorry? Yes, it is. It's about the vaccine mandate. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to all us concerned parents. I also want to thank everyone for their time and respect for allowing me to voice my view in reference to the matter. I'm a registered nurse. I have witnessed firsthand what COVID-19 does. I've managed a hot COVID unit in the ICU through the whole pandemic. I've held hands of patients passing away because their families couldn't be there, okay? I have been those patients' families, and I'm a registered nurse, like I said. I didn't have the vaccine at that time, and I'm here, and I'm standing. I am vaccinated. I am currently vaccinated. I chose to get vaccinated when only healthcare personnel were given the option before the general public. We were told by our superiors that it would stop the spread. I had a choice then. I chose because of my profession, my family, who my mother was dying of cancer, and I had a lot of family members that were very sick. And for my own personal health issues. I am asthmatic, I'm a borderline diabetic, and I saw what it was doing to people that had those comorbidities. Since my vaccination, as a collective, we now know that the vaccine isn't a vaccine at all. It's a glorified flu shot. That is exactly what it is. The vaccine does not stop the spread of COVID at all. If you are vaccinated, you might, and I use the term might, not get it as bad. I actually have a personal friend who is my manager that had the COVID vaccine, a booster, and she had to get the antibodies and was rushed to the emergency room for labored breathing. If you are vaccinated, you are still a carrier of COVID. COVID does not know you're vaccinated, it won't go on you, okay? Yes, COVID is here. Our children are getting it. My two daughters did get COVID. They now have antibodies. They don't need the vaccine. Statistically, the vaccine was given on an emergency basis by the FDA. This is no longer an emergency. Hospitals are not inundated with patients as the state is providing. It is not true. I see something every day from my hospital. We have less than 50 patients, and most of them are vaccinated. Medical professionals have more knowledge and evidence on how to treat the virus than what they did previously during the first wave. I do not believe children should be forced to receive this vaccine because it is not a true vaccine. The vaccine does not eradicate the virus. The FDA does not have enough scientific data in regards to the long-term effects it will have on our children. If we're going by vaccines, how come the HPV vaccine isn't mandated? The CDC states that approximately over 90% of the population are sexually active, have HPV. The HPV vaccine stops the spread, which in turn would eradicate it. Why aren't we fighting for that instead? That is a true pandemic. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is John Sliansky. I have 4 kids that go to Idle School. This is about the mandate as well. We have a long line about this tonight. Yeah, exactly, right. I'm also a pastor of the Sound of Heaven Church in Deer Park, and so I know that you guys are in a real tough spot as well. It's not an easy situation for anybody, and we're all looking out for the best interest of our children. And to echo the sentiments of things that are said here today in regards to the mass, I'm not coming with any type of political angle or to sway anybody in that sense. I'm really more concerned, not about my opinion, but about the facts. You know, we've been talking about flattening the curve, and then that passed by, and then we're talking about, listen to the science and my body, my choice, and it just seems like selective reasoning is the hot topic of today. And I think there's a big mistrust that's going on right now between, obviously, our government officials, really anybody in leadership over our communities. And I would personally like to see that mended as well. To mandate a vaccination for children where we have no scientific or long-term data on any effects at all whatsoever will solely be put on the responsibility of those who elect to allow that to take place. And I do encourage for complete transparency as well, so us parents can make the right choices over our own children and not be told what to do and how to parent and how to raise our kids as well. I have a 9-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old. I'm filling up idle hour for you, at least for the next couple of years anyway. But, to watch my 4-year-old be masked all day long is very frustrating to me. Not that I think it's a detriment to the nth degree, but it is a detriment. My kids can't wear a Halloween mask for more than 30 seconds without getting distracted, let alone a mask that's strapped to their face, which, I could pull out studies from the national, pull this up real quick here, I know I got some time. The Cleveland Clinic and the U.S. National Library of Medicine, and here, the clinical medical journals have all done specific studies on people wearing masks and the adverse effects of it. Specifically, not even physical, but it's a quote, the impaired cognition was reported at 81% of people who are wearing masks for long periods of time. And now we're even trying to take away a simple mask break, pulling down a mask for 30 seconds to breathe. It's absolutely ridiculous. And also the results said, and again, I could supply any sources you need, and I quote, that the respondents experienced all side effects resolved once the mask was removed. So I urge you to again, I don't envy your position, but I urge you to do the right thing for our community and for our children.
Hello. Yes, this is on the vaccine as well. I have a question. Is there going to be anything as far as a choice or an option for any child that does have high antibody counts? My daughter is 10. She's never once shown signs of being sick for anything over these last 2 years, and she's gone to school every day, has perfect attendance. I just found out she has 10.2 counts for antibodies. If I give her a vaccine, that will kill that. And like someone else said, there's no proof that these vaccines work. And to put them in children is ridiculous. And to kill that antibody count, natural immunity is starting to show that it is way better. A God-given immune system is way better than a vaccine that has not shown it to work at all in 2 years. I'm sorry if I sound curt. I have one daughter. I have been watching countless videos of parents who put their children in the trials for these vaccines and seeing children paralyzed, and there's no one to sue. You cannot because it's still emergency use authorization. This is not the commodity one that the FDA says they approved. That's not even going to be put out into production for another year or so. What's being put out now is still emergency use, and no one can sue anybody for any adverse effects. Majority of children that are in the hospitals right now do not have COVID. They have adverse reactions to these vaccines. And we're supposed to sit there and put them in our children? And then to be told that our children are going to be kicked out of school if they do not have this? Meanwhile, my daughter and other children I know have been here this whole time while kids were at school, at home, doing their remote learning. They're the ones that came in, and they're the ones that are being told, now you're not going to be able, they're being punished because their parents do not want to give this to their children? The FDA just sealed Pfizer federal judges that you cannot get FOIA requests on any of the efficacy and safety data on any of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines till 2076. 55 years, you're not allowed to look up anything on this, and we're supposed to blindly put it in our children, especially when they are the least likely to have any kind of problems or symptoms going long-term with this? This is absolutely absurd. I truly, truly, truly hope, and I'm so sorry I sound curt like I'm taking it out on you, but unfortunately, you guys are there. You're supposed to be the shield for our children, not an arm of the state to reach in and tell them to keep doing this.
Hello, Rob Muchnick. I put three kids through the school district. Just wanted to recount a couple of numbers which maybe you don't know. The United Kingdom has some government statistics which show that since May, for ages 10 to 59, the all-cause mortality rate for those vaxxed is more than double than those for non-vaxxed. Maybe it's something to think about. There's another study done by the CDC itself, which showed pregnant women who took the jab in the first 2 trimesters, 84% of them lost their children. And now, in order to make the number sound better, the CDC added 700 women in the 3rd trimester to bring that number down to 12.6%. But hey, the number, the caption should be 84%. This shot doesn't protect adults. So it doesn't work in adults. Let's give it to children, right? Who aren't at risk. It makes a lot of sense to me. Maybe in a bizarro world, yes, but not in the real world. And the last speaker, I think, said, who's liable for this? Are you going to be liable? You're going to sign a document saying, if any of these kids are injured, you're going to take responsibility? I don't think so. Who's going to take responsibility? Kathy Hochul, unelected? Steve Ballone? Joe Biden, who said, oh, we're not going to have any mandates? Okay, thank you.
Hi, this is about the vaccine mandate. I'm 48 years old. I'm a little late to the parenting game. I have 4 children now. My oldest is now in 1st grade. I'm a merchant mariner. I'm a lifelong Suffolk County resident. I was a Boy Scout. I was an Eagle Scout. And when I stand up, I was also a Navy Reserve officer for a long time. I graduated the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy at Kings Point. When I stand and I say the Pledge of Allegiance unto the Republic for which it stands, this is not a democracy. First of all, it's a republic. Second of all, our elected representatives are supposed to be, they're empowered by us, but the executive branch doesn't have the authority ever to tell us what we're going to do with medicine. This whole thing, when it started in 2019, 2020, was emergency use. It was just 2 weeks to stop the spread. 2 weeks to stop the spread. Oh, it's just 2 weeks. It's just 2 weeks. Here we are 2 years later, basically, and they're still telling us it's a little bit longer, a little bit longer, a little bit longer. I'm watching News 12 the other day, and Erin Colton couldn't even contain her excitement talking about the Hochul vaccine mandate. Like, it's like, ooh, yay, there's going to be a mandate again. Like, what you're seeing on TV is like La La Land. I don't even recognize the country that I grew up in, that I swore an oath to serve. And like, we all say the Pledge of Allegiance, but how many people, does anybody know what that means? And justice for all. Okay, so my family a few weeks ago all got COVID. I'm a tanker captain. I'm carrying gasoline from refineries in Louisiana and delivering it to the market. My company has personally taken a huge hit. We had several ships in layup because of the demand destruction that has happened because of the lockdowns. Watching the economy get crushed from every angle, and it's only because of the actions of government that this is happening. My children have now all had it. They bounced back from it in a few days. My wife had it. My 65-year-old mother-in-law had it, who has an ejection fraction of less than 50%. She's got a heart condition. She said it was like a head cold with body aches, and now she's fine. She's unvaccinated. My sister-in-law, who was an all-American athlete lacrosse player, believes in the vaccine, and she's got all her stuff boosted up and everything. She had 104 fever for 3 days. So the vaccines are utterly ineffective. Absolutely, utterly ineffective. My wife is stay-at-home with 4 children. She's unvaccinated. She was sick for a few days, and she's fine. They all had the same thing. They were together for, I don't know, a week prior to Thanksgiving or so. I was still on the tanker in the Gulf of Mexico at the time. I came home after. I stayed at work extra long so I could avoid that quarantine period until the pediatrician said my son was safe to go back to school, and everybody had been fever-free and symptom-free long enough. I urge you to please keep in mind the silent majority of people that are disgusted with the state of affairs in this country overall, and this is a reflection. And they say, this is my first time ever coming to something like this because I'm a parent now, and it really means something. And I'm shaking. I'm shaking because I'm so scared for the state of things, and we need you all to stand up for us.
lot of you touched on most of this that I was going to say, but here we go. Good evening. My name is Christine. My son goes to RMS, and I just have a question for you. When is enough enough? Our children have had their lives turned upside down for almost 2 years. Our children are struggling physically, mentally, emotionally. They no longer know normal. In regards to the mask mandate, they cause more harm than good. With asthma, my son has been back and forth now struggling so bad with his mask, with his asthma, it's insane. We're the ones that have to take him to the doctors. We're the ones that have to pay the bills. I'm the ones that have to sit with him and take care of him because of these masks. It affects the CO2 levels. He gets severe headaches from it. He comes home every day and he is not feeling well. It's also affecting their learning with the teachers by communicating with speech. A lot of times they can't understand what you're saying with these on their face. That affects the learning process for our children. And it's bad enough that they have to wear them, but to not allow breaks, that is absolutely unacceptable and is borderline abusive. We also received an email regarding the vaccine mandate. How can you allow them to mandate a vaccine that's not a vaccine? A vaccine prevents you from contracting and spreading a virus. This does neither. This is a virus like a flu, which will continue to mutate and have different strains, same as the flu. Measles, mumps, rubella, those are vaccines. We should not be forced to put chemicals into our children's bodies. There is not enough research and not enough long-term side effect knowledge. I am not an anti-vax by any means, but I'm anti-crap. Enough is enough. I did find reading the email did seem a bit threatening. If they try and force this mandate, my child will be unenrolled from school. My child has been going to school for several months. Then you're just going to drop him? We would have to figure out how to educate our own children. Will you be offering remote learning, homeschooling, packets to finish the school year? How would that work for our children? When I received the email, I called the school to speak to the principal and to find out more information. Turns out they had no clue what I was talking about. I would think before sending an email like that, maybe the principal, assistant principals, and teachers should know. Speaking of teachers, are they being mandated, or is it just going to be our children they're going after? Maybe there should be better communication. If we are to believe our school board are actually concerned for our children, there should be better means of communication. My children and I had COVID and have natural antibodies. Why is that not taken into consideration? Natural antibodies should be acknowledged and accepted. We need to stand up and fight for our children. Last I checked, we live in the United States, where men and women died for our freedoms. So I ask you again, when is enough is enough? We need to protect our children, and we should not comply.
Thank you. Only?
Good evening. My name is John. My daughter is 5 years old. She goes to Idle Hour. It's a great school. I just want to thank everybody up here for your time tonight and this evening. This is about the vaccine mandate. I just want to a couple suggestions, some reasoning. This is some basic things that I guess I'm known for, common sense type of things, just to really think about. Just like many people touched tonight, there's no long studies in this new type of vaccine technology. Remember, this is a new technology, mRNA. No one has ever heard about this before this pandemic. We don't know really the long-term studies, and it is not your normal vaccine. It is very intricate. This is not something that was developed over 20 years span. This is one very important fact that everyone needs to take into account. We don't know who's going to be responsible. Just to say, my daughter, 5 years old, has organs that don't develop. We don't know what the specifics are. We're adults. We chose to do this. First of all, next thing is in the news today. They said 33% of, this comes from Pfizer, is 33% of the vaccine is of efficacy now. This is a new study that just came out of South Africa. So why would we give our children, this should be off the table. It's 33% now. It's going down. These variants are going to come out and just make this vaccine mandate, this vaccine itself, pointless. They're already thinking about creating a new vaccine. So why would we put something already that is disintegrating to 33%, and this is just beginning now with this? You know, and another thing is that the liability, you know, there's no liability for this vaccine. A lot of people touched on that. There's no New York State fund. There's nothing for us. We're just going to give our children something without nobody saying, if God forbid something happens, what if something happens to your child? How many children in here right now would say, I'm going to give my child the vaccine without questioning it, without saying anything? And she has an intent, our governor has an intent to do this. She should have had this meeting before she intended it. The governor should have had a talk about this before her intentions. Sometimes people have bad intentions, and this is what I'm seeing. And it's not fully approved. You know, how can we force a vaccine that's not been fully approved? You know? And another thing, there's not an independent vaccine group that's out there. Independent, you know, we rely on you officials. We rely on the government to give us the information. But we want to be more involved. But if you allow us to be involved, we will love to be more involved so we can all be on the same page. Obviously, we all want this pandemic to end. But where's the data to say that the kids are now the all to everything? Now this is the end of it. There's no data to specify that. And, you know, really, as a parent, and what I've decided is that me as the parent, my doctor, we should be making the decision.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Victoria. I try to speak at every meeting. I'm here for my 5-year-old who I did not enroll in pre-K because of these mandates. The fact that the government, this state, thinks it's okay to mandate a vaccine for a child that's not theirs is really appalling. And if this district is not going to fight for our children, then I don't even want to be a part of this district anymore. That's what it really boils down to. I'm actually at the point where I just want to leave the state. I don't care if my husband loses his job. I'm not going to lose mine. I'm thankful that my employer's not mandating it, but what right is it of anyone else's to mandate a vaccine on anyone, let alone a child? I will not co-parent with this school district. I will not co-parent with the federal government. I will not co-parent with this state. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to share their feelings? Okay, now we're going.
Hi, my name is Joanne. I just want to talk about the mandates. We're going to go back to full-time masking, no breaks. We are going to go what next? We're going to go remote next after the holidays. We're going to go on full lockdown again, which, you know, the vaccines are no good for the children. The immunities, my son has not been on lockdown since day one. My other son had to get the vax because he has to go to this certain college. He gets tested anyway, even though he's vaxxed. And this whole entire time, none of us have gotten sick. We've been out doing the safe distance, doing, you know, what you're supposed to be doing. We have been wearing masks. And if they're going to force the kids to not even have 3 minutes of breathing time, that's child abuse. What if, you know, you kept, I hope you guys are really thinking about this. You know what I'm saying? As a person, do you want to do that to your child? You know, like, this is all, I don't know what the hell's going on in the world, but things are getting out of control, and we want you guys to be on the same page with all of us to help protect our children. You know, I had a sign in my yard that said, Connecticut Pride, you know? I took that sign down because I see the way that we're just going downhill. I don't want to follow what they're saying. Nobody wants our children to follow what they're saying if the science shows that it doesn't work. And with the vaccine mandates, I will too pack up and move because this is ridiculous. These children are growing, their immunities are growing, and I just hope that you guys really think about protecting our children with us. We want you here to fight with us against this Hochul's mandate. I don't know why everybody's following all these lies. I just hope that you're our line of defense, okay? Thank you all.
Mask mandate for the kids, not allowing them to have breaks and everything like that. And I know a lot of other school districts have sent out letters saying that they're not going to abide by that, they're not going to comply to that, that their children are still going to be allowed to have breaks. What is your input on that? Are you going to make a stand and allow our children to still have their mask breaks, or are you going to comply and abuse our children, basically?
Lisa, can you provide some guidance legally on what we can and cannot do with the new mandate?
It's going to be addressed.
Legally, it's more of human.
This is actually not part of the consent agenda, but we're going to have legal counsel speak to you.
So essentially, if you don't comply, you'll be subject to the fines and, other potential, for lack of a better word, feedback from the Department of Health, that could be negative to the district, technically fines. However, remember the mask breaks are for indoor only. It's not addressing outdoor where masks are not required. So that's just something to take into consideration with regard to mask breaks.
They spend most of the day in
Excuse
class
me,
in school.
excuse me. Oh, no, excuse me. No, let her have her time.
Okay, I want to ask Lisa a question, simple. I can ask her a question, thank you. I'm sitting here, I'm taking a mask break by taking water.
Yes.
Is the Department of Health going to tell children now they can't have a drink of water?
No, you do not have to wear masks when you're eating. You do not have to wear masks when you're
So
drinking.
children can get water whenever they need water, is that correct?
I would imagine that the district wouldn't have a policy against children drinking water.
Dr. Adams, is there any kind of policy on children drinking water in this district? Are we going to stop them from drinking water?
No, we actually provided that information at the beginning of the school year when originally it had said that we weren't allowed to have mask breaks. So we said we were going to have water breaks. It's been very much more publicized that there's no mask breaks, but water breaks are a wonderful thing.
Thank you.
Because I don't know, it doesn't make sense. Like COVID knows when you're standing, when you're sitting. You can go to a restaurant, sit at a table, and eat a dinner before without a mask, but our children couldn't sit at a desk without a mask. Nothing makes sense, and it's out of control. And someone needs to stand up for these children.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry,
No, that's fine, that's a good one.
Last person, it's over a half hour, right?
Hello. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I don't have a pre-planned speech, but like others, I do have concerns about the vaccine mandate. My son is 5. He attends Duffield Elementary School, where he has to wear a mask all day now. And like others have said, the Sachem School superintendent is not mandating the masks, but really, given the opinion of this room and all the people in this community that feel so against the vaccine mandate, what resources does the Board of Education intend to provide for parents who want to pull their kids out of school if the vaccines, because, we can sit here and we can complain all we want, and we can throw all the facts at you, but at the end of the day, if the vaccine is going to be mandated, my kid is going to be pulled out. And I want to know what is going to be done to give us resources to continue educating our children. Are we going to be thrown to the wolves and say, figure it out? Because we're relying on you as resources. So what are you going to give us? What is in the works? Please tell me.
We're not answer, it's not a question and answer session, but if you leave your name and, they
So
can
this
reach-
is a one-way conversation.
It's a conversation, yes. Uh-huh. We're,
So I'm up here for nothing. Is that's what we're saying now? Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thank you.
we're,
So this isn't a question and answer session?
no, it's not. It
When
never
that?
was.
It never was?
No.
Okay, all right.
Answers are posted.
My husband, okay,
But have you been up, you're the last,
I just have a comment. I just have a comment. My husband has been with the United States Postal Service for 36 years, okay? 36 years. He is not mandated to get that vaccine. He's a federal worker. Why isn't he, and an essential worker, why hasn't he been mandating? Why isn't the government been mandated, but they're gonna mandate our children? What is going on in this world? I mean, seriously, think about that. 36 years he's been with the Postal Service. He's not been tested, well, he's been tested on the outside or whatever, but he is not mandated to have a vaccine or get tested every 2 weeks or whatever, or even wear a mask for that matter. But they want us to do this to our children, okay? Why not the 3 million postal workers or the illegals coming over or anything, but they want us to do this to our children? This is abuse. This is, I don't know what the hell they're doing, mental control over these kids with this Common Core, with the education, with the way they changed everything. Something's going on. I hope everybody's questioning what is going on and why are they doing all of this stuff to everybody. Everybody.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move on now to personnel matters. Yes, there is. I need a motion and a second to approve the instructional and non-instructional personnel items as presented. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I recommend financial matters. Call for a motion and a second to approve items 2 through 7. Are there any questions? I need a motion.
Motion.
Second. Mylan, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, I thought I was on mute.
Second.
I'll second it.
Any questions?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
And now we're moving on to the consent agenda. Need a motion and a second to approve items 2 through 19.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions?
I have questions.
No? Okay, go ahead.
It's regarding the consent agenda, item number 2, regarding the school resource officer. So we're going to be assigned a full-time or part-time SRO. So do we have an idea? I'll list off my questions, and then Linda, can you follow up with the answers? Which school will they be assigned to? They also brought up about programs that they will be bringing in. Have the SROs in the past brought in programs, and what were they? Are they trained in active shooting? Does the Board of Ed get to meet the SRO? If a child is questioned by an SRO, is it in the presence of the parent? And are they allowed to break up a fight in school?
Mylan, it's one officer for the entire district. It's gonna be just like it was with the last one. They come and they stop in, but they absolutely do not stay here all day. It's nothing like that.
No, in fact, right now in Suffolk County, there's one in this general area who has the majority of the school districts. So in order for us to even invite her onto campus, we have to have the MOU. Otherwise, we can't even invite them to do any work on our campus.
If I'm not mistaken, 60 schools. If I'm not mistaken, and it could have changed, maybe Don would be able to tell me, it was one officer, one SRO for 60 schools. Where 11, and then it was Sachem, it was Hopper, I know we were all together.
Belport, yes, all of the Islip cluster, yes. But in order for us to even invite that person on to do the work, we have to have the MOU. And Mylan, the question that you asked about if a Suffolk County PD officer questions a child, they must be in the presence of that parent. That's just law.
Okay, great. And I guess the other program would be, what programs do they bring in? I saw that in the contract.
So I was actually honored to be on the school resource officer committee where we spoke about things that the officers could do for the district. And some of the things that they were looking to do is really to let our kids know that police officers are there to help them and that they are looking to put some programs in place where it's like, and Jackie, help me out here, but I think one of the places that they were putting in was like cooking with a cop. And that way they could come in and they could work with the students, usually the younger students in the middle school or the elementary, just so that they could see that police officers are not someone to be afraid of, that they're people who are here to help us in our community. And that's just one of the programs that they were looking to expand in the SRO program.
This is really not, it's really not a program where they're going to be coming in and doing police work. It's not like that. They're coming in so that the school has somebody who's a contact for our security. They're a contact in the event that something happens, like what we just had recently, where there's some sort of issue or some threat. What ends up happening is the SRO is a direct contact to our director of security and the team. And it actually works out better because they know, just like the one we had previously that retired, that's what actually this is. The one we had retired, and we didn't have one here for over a year. Am I right, Linda? It was over a year.
We did have one that we had access to, but like you said, 60 schools, and some
So-
of the schools are bigger than us.
So now that what this is, I think people were confused that this is not in place of an armed guard, which is what I actually had heard some people thinking. This is just one officer that is a contact to our district. And if, God forbid, we needed Suffolk, this officer, if they were working, they would speak to our security director, but they wouldn't be specifically the one that would show up here. It's whoever's on duty in a patrol car. You call 911, that's who's coming. So this is actually the contact, the main contact for our director of security, and also the person that could stop in the school like we do in many other districts, where we stop into schools and we check and see how things are going, introduce ourselves so that security and the police can work together in the event that there's a threat or something like that. Also, they are bringing in programs to allow children to see the police, mostly the younger children, and know that they're there as a trusted adult if you need them, and that police are not supposed to be scary. They're supposed to be people that children understand will help them.
I also wanted to mention something a parent had spoke about earlier, and by the way, I thought the parents had provided great information and definitely valid points. But one of the things that a parent had mentioned was about writing a joint letter with our neighboring districts. At their last board meeting, I did ask if the superintendent could reach out to our local neighboring districts if they would be interested in writing a joint letter. Did you approach the Islip cluster to see if anybody be interested, Linda.
I'm sorry, Mylan, I can't understand you. Can you send me an email? Because I can't or text me so that I know what you're asking. Does it have something to do, though, with the consent agenda?
I was bringing up something that a parent had mentioned about writing a joint letter with our neighboring districts regarding the vaccine mandate. I had asked at the last board meeting if you can reach out and have a joint letter, not only for Connecticut to write its own letter, but to also be supported by our neighboring districts.
So I thought that you folks would do that at the joint ISLIP board meeting that happened about a week and a half ago. Truthfully, you know, and a lot of folks in the room have pointed to this board to send a letter, and that letter is actually going to be voted on by you folks in a few minutes. But what the senator who spoke to us about is she doesn't want single letters. She doesn't want a single letter from a Board of Education. She doesn't want a single letter from a superintendent. She wants hundreds of letters, thousands of letters to go to the governor so that the governor knows the will of the people she's governing. Because I'm unimportant in the grand scheme of things to Governor Hochul. You folks are important in the grand scheme of Governor Hochul. I'm one vote. I'm one voice. And even though the voice is a superintendent voice, I'm speaking, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. If you ask Senator White, who represents you folks, she's asking you individually to send up letters. And that's why I sent you the link, so that you could individually make the governor know how you feel. So we can put together a joint letter. That's not a problem. We have the letter from the board to go today. We have a letter from myself that went about them that not allowed them to take the mask breaks. Those things are one individual thing. They really would like to see the will of the people. That's all of you. So, Mylan, I can certainly reach out to my fellow superintendents to see if they're willing. I know that they were speaking about it. We've been speaking about it for a couple weeks now. Every district has seemed to put together a letter about vaccines and parent choice, and that's on this agenda today. So, but I can certainly reach out to my fellow superintendents and see if they're still interested in doing something jointly.
Thank you. No.
No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion so carried. So at this point, we're going to public comment.
May I just interrupt for 1 second? I would like to publicly thank Mr. Dean Middleman, who is our outgoing Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum Instruction. He was appointed to the superintendency in East Mauritius. He has truly made the district a better place for kids in the 8 years that we worked together. We came in together, we started as a team. We've done a lot of work. We've improved the academics in this district, and I am very proud to call you a colleague, and I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for this community for 8 years. I would also like to introduce, and she's a familiar face because she works in the district right now. Extremely professional, loves her job, loves her kids, loves this community, and is willing to be the interim assistant superintendent of curriculum instruction. She stepped in for Mr. Middleman in 2020, and she's willing to take on the job again. And the board appointed Mrs. Christina Poppy as the new interim assistant superintendent of curriculum instruction tonight. So we're looking forward to working with you. Yeah, I was going to say that too. Go ahead, do it. No, go ahead, do it.
So Gail just asked me to make sure I said something. We had sat on the mental health committee, myself, Lee, and Marisol, you even did it with us. For Ms. Santo, we had said we were going to at least give everybody a heads up. There's a save the date for a virtual movie screening on Thursday, January 13th, 7 p.m. Thursday, January 13th, 7 p.m. I'll be posting it. I'm sure the school district will be posting it, but it'll be posted all over. For Screen Ages, Growing Up in the Digital Age. Documentary illuminating how tech impacts kids' development, offers solutions, empowers kids to best navigate the digital world and find a balance. Sounds like it's going to be an excellent source for parents, so just so you guys know, again, January 13th at 7 p.m.
Yeah, there's a second one. There's also Mental Health Matters. That has to deal with suicide prevention. And that one will only be for secondary students, as the subject matter is a lot more mature, for mature audiences. So that's also coming down the pipelines.
Thank you. Okay, now we're moving to public comment. I will open the floor, open public comment portion of the agenda. I will call individuals forward one at a time. Please wait for my acknowledgement before stepping up to the podium. You should have received a numbered card from security on your way in. If you have not, please see a security guard in the back of the room. Any person wishing to address the board shall address the board president only. Comments should be kept as brief as possible and relate to school matters only. Each person will be limited to 3 minutes for one or more topics. If members of the audience speak out of turn, the board will take an immediate recess until order is restored. Any specific questions asked will be answered by the appropriate party and posted to our district board docs page, which can be accessed through the district's website. If you have a specific question and would like an email follow-up, please complete the card on the podium with your name and contact information. Once complete, please provide to the district clerk. Okay, so now, number 1. Has anyone taken numbers? It's number 1? Number 2? Number 3? Sir?
So this is back to public comment again? So I just want to bring up one thing that I failed to mention before because I'm an amateur here. I'm not used to speaking in public about these things. But I believe that we all have an obligation to not comply with an unlawful order. I can't order a crew member to harm another crew member on a ship. A man in a military position of authority can't order someone to shoot someone that's not a threat in a field of combat, right? The governor doesn't have the authority in the Constitution of New York to tell us to put a medical injection into anyone, especially a child who's still developing. They're saying it's based on this emergency, but what's the definition of emergency? Like, isn't there a time limit attached to the word emergency? When this thing first hit at the end of Trump's term, they were telling us, oh, it's 2 weeks to slow the spread so we don't overwhelm the hospitals. And so we bought into it because it makes common sense to any normal, intelligent human being. Yeah, that's right, we don't want to overwhelm the hospitals. We could talk all night about how they mismanaged it, and a lot of people died as a result of it. But the point is that at this stage, you can't say that human beings in this country haven't been exposed. We've all been exposed to it at one time or another. We've either gotten it or, like, I'm personally not anti-vax. I got the Johnson & Johnson because I work on a ship and we live in an isolated environment. If one person gets it, we're all going to get it. I felt like I was protecting myself, and I also had a duty to do it because if there was an outbreak on the ship, I'd get sent home, and I don't want to impact my pay. But I'm an adult. Again, children. That's the whole reason we're here tonight. We need people in positions of authority like yourself. Like, I know everybody's worried, oh, if we don't comply, we hide behind the legal mumbo jumbo. If we don't comply, New York State will pull our funds. Well, all of our tax dollars went to New York State first, and then they're threatening to not give some of it back. Make New York State follow up on their threats that they're not going to fund the school if we don't comply with this unconstitutional, illegal order that really can't even be given in the first place. And to any common sense individual, this is not an emergency because now we're 2 years into it. They can't keep making it up. They push the goalpost further back every week. They keep spinning new variants. We know that the vaccines are no more effective than the flu vaccine. And like, enough is enough. Like, let the common sense prevail.
Thank you. Number 4. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8.
How you doing? Thank you for your time. I'm here because of the vaccine, pretty much like everybody else. I got 3 kids in the district. I got 2 in Idle Hour, 1 in OBMS. They're getting a great education. I want them to continue to get a great education. If this mandate goes through, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to get my kids vaccinated. You know, hopefully they'll be able to continue to get educated. I know this is not a Q&A session. I can only ask you guys for your help. We need your help. You guys seem like you're really good leaders. Our kids are getting, I personally feel our kids are getting a phenomenal education. I want to keep that going. So, you know, the only thing I could do is, can you guys put together some sort of action plan if we have to get mandated? You know, I think that's the best course of action right now. I hope you consider some alternative. If my kids can't go to school, you know, what does their future have in store? So, you know, if you guys could do something, I beg of you, I plead with you. You're doing a phenomenal job educating our children, but we need you to protect them. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Number 9. Number 10. Number 11. Well, I don't know, I really had a lot of questions tonight. Number 12.
Just have a couple questions. Why are different schools enforcing different rules?
Leave your name and
Okay. Okay. Well, that's all right. Why are different classrooms enforcing different rules of the same school? I feel like I'm talking to my foyer. Sorry. Why? Here's the issue, and this is the problem. Again, that brings more distrust, and would not. Again, we all want the best for our children. I believe you guys are in a tough spot. I get that, but this is your responsibility to answer the questions that we have. When today, my 9-year-old comes home, he wasn't allowed to take his mask off all day. My 6-year-old was outside. His teacher would not allow him to take his mask off outside. They said he could pull it down below his nose. My daughter in the same school, had 3 mask breaks inside her classroom today. What are we doing here? That's silly. So, you know, this needs to make sense, and it doesn't make any sense. And as far as the mask breaks go, again, I harped on this my first time, I'm gonna do it again. You know, as silly as I personally think masks on children are, I'm not gonna be the one that's causing all this ruckus. It's a mess, it is what it is. But to have exactly, you brought up wonderful points, valid points. But the fact that my kid can't breathe. And if anybody doesn't think that it doesn't affect, it's silly. When we get out here, the first thing we're doing is taking the mask off our face, and nobody's sitting there, at least most of us aren't driving home, sitting home in our car, laying down, going to bed with a mask on because it has no effect. We all wear these masks, and we can't wait to get out of this thing, to get out to breathe natural. And these are our kids trying to learn with this stuff on their face. And again, if they're going to wear it for most of the day, fine. I'm not going to cause a big stink about that. But to not let these kids have breaks, or at least come up with a solution. Hey, this is what they're trying to do. We're going to walk outside 4 or 5 times a day. We're going to walk in the hallway, socially distance. Let's come up with some type of game plan so that we can properly educate these children without these distractions and have some consistency to build trust back up with the parents of the kids in your school and in your community. So I guess thank you.
Number 13.
I feel your pain, Connecticut. This is what they do over here. This is what they don't respond, and they hide behind the lawyers. And that's how they are. Just so you know, I'm writing this as a parent of the district for multiple reasons. Safety being one of them. This is an email I sent, and they haven't yet responded. I did it on October 7th. Their response was going to be on November 8th, they told me. I would like to know the number of coaches who didn't have proper certification during the time period of 2016 and 2018. I would like to let the people of Connecticut understand what happened to me because I was fired based on not having proper certification, and I was never notified about it. But you hired 2 other people and more, from what I understand, that didn't have proper certification, and you still left people on the football field without the proper certification for that year and the year after. That is not acceptable as a parent of this district. Please, okay? Why did you discriminate against me? You're not going to answer me, I understand it. But please, make sure all the board members receive this and are aware that you are supposed to defend the people of the district and the kids, okay? And take care of us. I feel that you have a board member that let the public know about my lawsuit and the investigation, that you should make the report public. Why not? Let everybody know, because then they'll see what you guys really did. I ran for the board to make a change. One of the board members changed her mind about me. She supported me and said I should do the lawsuit at the beginning. I disagreed with her during my term, and all of a sudden she was against me and started doing false things. The public of Connecticut must see what is going on and not be intimidated by the school actions. I would like if each board member can get back to me with the response. Please respond. I am writing as a parent of the district. Don't avoid me, which you already have done. And just because I have a lawsuit, that should have nothing to do with sticking up for me or defending me as a board member. That was the email. My lawsuit was to protect myself and my family from your dirty ways and also stop this from happening. The money wasn't even the furthest thing from my mind at the beginning. I didn't even care about the money. But the school kept doing what they were doing. An apology, I said at first, would be fine. And please, make some kind of policy that would stop this from happening to me and other people in the district. You didn't do anything. Instead, you came after me more. For your information, there is not any amount of money that can replace what you did to me. You took away something that I loved. Coaching was my life. You want me to be quiet and let it go and not respond. I'm sorry, but that's not going to happen. Let the public also know how the investigator we hired was referred by our lawyers, who have a strange relationship with Linda Adams. The investigator called her and asked her if there was anything on the report that was not true or had to be changed. We're investigating the school and Linda Adams, but we're going to ask her if there's anything wrong with the report. Kind of strange. By the way, I told him things.
Just finish off.
No, I'm not done. By the way, I told him about things that Linda Adams had said to me, and you, Lee Kennedy, but it wasn't on the report. Another thing, strange. Your response was, when I first asked for the FOIL, I asked for names. You said, oh, no, it's private policy, whatever. You couldn't give names. Now, I know the names of some of the people, but then I asked just for the number of coaches. Discrimination is not allowed, and you guys did it, okay? You try to keep covering up things. What we're going through here as a district, through everything, you hide behind the lawyer. It's got to stop. I'm also not done. I'll be coming to more board meetings, telling you certain things. I've asked for another FOIL about how a superintendent got paid certain money for insurance
Okay, this is
and stuff like that.
inappropriate.
No,
at this
no,
point.
no,
And
Lee.
your 3
This-
minutes is up.
Yeah, I know, but you see what you're hiding. This is what you do.
No,
Why don't you let
your
the public?
3 minutes is up, Mark.
I would
You
like
have
to let
things
the
you wanna
public see
talk
the
about,
report,
right.
report
Mark,
of what
please.
happened.
You've been on the
Please.
board. 3 minutes is up. The insurance company told us the truth. Let's move on. Okay, Mark. Mark, stop. Mark,
Truth will come out. Lee, you've done it. You came to my office, you embarrassed me, yelled at me, and it's just
Mark.
crazy what goes on.
okay,
Let
Mark.
the people know. Let me tell you something. You know what you've done. I forgive you, because that's the only way I'm going to go on. But I'm not going to accept it. And
Okay.
I don't want this to happen to anybody else.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
And I will be coming every week to speak about something
Thank you.
that has been done.
Okay, number 14.
Good evening. I wasn't going to talk tonight, but I did take a number just in case. And one of the things I
Hey,
hear.
can you want to talk a little bit louder, because I can't hear you?
One of the things I hear is that the parents aren't getting answers from emails. There's no transparency. But yet, we receive surveys that need to be filled out by the end of the week. So
Yeah.
it's memorandum 22052 from Mr. Middleman. It's a digital equity survey that's sent out for children in K through 8. I'm sorry you don't know about it, so I'll tell you. Please know we will not be filling out these survey requests. At this time, I'm also advising you, Connecticut Board of Education, Oakdale Bohemian Middle School, and the Connecticut School District, we will no longer have our children fill out or participate in written, electronic, or verbal surveys as requested by and for the school or related in any educational school matters without our full prior knowledge and full written consent. In addition, we will not and do not give any consent with any verbal questions, directly or indirectly, in any format, once again, verbal, written, or electronic, to be asked to our children as data to be used for New York State surveys for purposes and/or to be shared with any department of New York State by any teacher, staff, and/or surveyor from any district and/or New York State departments or otherwise at any time for any reason for surveys as for that purpose. So again, we get this information, we have to provide these surveys back to you. And if you look at them, the IDs from the students, it has every individual student's name, every individual student's ID. So it's not an anonymous survey, and the school district, and that goes to New York State. We will not comply.
Number 15.
Like another parent earlier, I couldn't get it all out earlier because there's a lot of emotion, right? There's fear, there's anger, for my family, for our situation, for my way of life. I'm an educator for over 25 years at this point, and a coach. And I would consider myself a failure if my students or players knew my political beliefs. A failure. I certainly would never dream of pushing a myopic, one-sided agenda out to impressionable young minds. My job is to spark intellectual debate, to present and discuss opposing viewpoints in order to let them form their own educated beliefs. That's my job as a teacher. it would be greatly appreciated if you took the time to remind your teachers to be mindful of their lessons and discussions in the classroom. I'm livid about what came to my attention. I digress. Children being called selfish for not vaccinating has no place in the classroom. None. None. I'm proud of my child, proud of my daughter for having an intellectual rebuttal in that classroom. But the words that came out of that teacher's mouth, as a fellow educator, is unacceptable. So, it would be greatly appreciated again if I'm an educator, I know we all have our moments, but it would be much appreciated if it was addressed, a gentle reminder, please be mindful of your discussions in the hallway, in the classroom, and directly to the students. That's one. Couldn't get that out earlier, I lost my way. I'm assuming you're following similar testing protocols many other districts in the island are. I know we can't ask questions. I mean, I know there's room for decorum, but your reputation that precedes you was well documented tonight. I mean, decorum is decorum, but when we're talking about a situation like this, there could be a little leeway. That's called common sense and courtesy. You know, I don't know why that's difficult to figure out. I really don't. Simple questions, simple answers. It's mind-boggling to me. Again, I assume you're following similar testing protocols in many of the districts. In the particular district that I work in, at this particular point in time, it is only unvaccinated employees of the district that need to be tested once a week. I'm assuming that's what it is here. When is it going to be considered harassment? Okay, and that I have friends who are superintendents and who are principals who in their building, all 10 teachers, all 15 teachers that went out were vaccinated. Yet they don't have to test. They can transmit it, they can obviously contract it, transmit it, yet they don't have to be tested. They don't even have to be quarantined if they're in a whole family that tests positive. So unless this is directly tied to the funds that are associated with following the mandates of these I can't believe it's about the safety, okay? And then, and real quick before I go, I had referenced earlier that it was shocking, the heart numbers that you talked about. And the reason why I did mention that is, unfortunately, this is a local discussion tonight, but this is a world issue, okay? And unfortunately, here in this country, which is a discussion for another time, we are not exposed to the reaction that the rest of the world is having. Right now, as we speak, there's 10,000 truckers in Berlin, Germany, blocking things and fighting this vaccine mandates that are going on there. Okay, 10,000, there's hundreds of thousands of people in Spain, in France, in the streets. Okay, we're not exposed to that. Again, discussion for another time in the way this country does things. So I reference that heart issue because it doesn't, and again, this isn't in stone yet, but you have to consider these mandates these possible mandates going forward. I would urge you again to look beyond your local news. I won't get into politics and bad mouth and call the news, but just look beyond the local news. It doesn't take much to know that there's over 400 people in Europe right now that have dropped on the soccer pitch in the past 6 months, all with heart-related and breathing issues. These are some of the most physical fit specimens on the planet. They had single digits for the past 30 years of people dropping on the pitch. They have over 400 in the past 6 months. So I plead with you, in that decision making, go beyond your local news because you're not getting all of it if that's all you're looking at. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir. Sir. Can I just get your name? Because I just have some follow-up questions for you.
I'd rather not, but I'll gladly stay after if you'd like to
After?
speak. Yeah.
Perfect.
Number 15, 16.
How's it going? All right, I'm not here about the vaccine mandates or anything. I'm more here about the kind of special ed department. My daughter attends 4th grade here at Duffield. We moved here in 2019. She's attending grades 2 to 4. We have report cards from all of her time here with every trimester outlining concerns of her inability to focus, lack of organizational skills, and the inability to maintain math skills on grade level. While she's been offered RTI services for the math concern, nothing else has been suggested to aid the outlined concerns of focus and organization. My wife and I have expressed these concerns in email, asking what more can be done to support these areas. The school provided in-house psychological services until the school psychologist broke rapport and our daughter became uncomfortable meeting. These psychological services were not provided to help in any of the areas outlined on the report cards that match the concerns my wife and I have expressed, but rather to aid in emotional support. On January 11th, in third grade, we expressed an email that we were concerned with how her lack of organization is causing a disruption in bringing home homework and other needed supplies. This minimized our ability as parents to be proactive.
You know, sir,
Yeah.
I think that we can have, can we just have your name and phone number, and we can have someone get back to you?
No.
Discussing your child?
No, I think we got a bigger problem, because this leads into all the email communication problems that we have. Yeah, it's getting a little ridiculous with this district. I mean, I'm looking at private schools that I can't afford, because we have asked for 2 years to get help for our daughter, okay? We're finally getting a CSE meeting in January. They just started evaluations. A 4-sentence letter had to be sent to you people, okay? 2 years I have to ask and dig and find that, and I have to call New York State to get answers? This is insane, guys. Absolutely insane. Now you're doing an evaluation because I made you jump? I mean, I don't want to go down the attorney route. I don't even want to be here doing this. This is nonsense. But when my daughter comes home and homework takes 2 to 3 hours because she's struggling to understand the information, and I'm paying out the ass for a tutor that she's working well with, that proves to me that it's not her. It's how you guys are educating. And if she needs one-to-one that we've asked for multiple times, you guys aren't delivering on that. Now we're getting to an IEP finally, hopefully. We're hoping that you guys are going to get an IEP. And you guys have all been on this. We CC'd all of you on these emails. I'm in a current fight with the principal on the lack of communication from this school. You guys decided to send out an email about a cereal shortage, okay? But yet, the day after a mandate for masks, you don't tell anyone that your kids can't take off their mask all day? The cereal shortage was that important? I don't get it, guys. It doesn't make sense. Nothing of the school district makes sense anymore. I took her out of Setauket because there was issues there. I brought her here because you guys were rated as a quality school district, and I'm finding crap. You know, I'm just angry at this entire situation here. I don't understand it. I know you guys aren't going to have answers for me. You haven't answered anyone in this room. And any week of any meeting. It's just insane. So, I'm asking you guys why this department at Duffield, when other schools, I ask about RTI services. I ask for RTI services and how we get an IEP. I get no answer on an email. None. And then I had to reach out to a special education advocate and wonder about paying her to come to meetings. And she tells us, oh, it's a 4-sentence letter that you send. Wow, you guys figured out what you had to do. Holy crap. I don't understand that. Why should parents whose children are struggling come here and have to fight tooth and nail to get some help? I cannot help my child if she does not bring the homework home. I'm not in the school to pack her bag up. It doesn't do anything. I'm lucky I have other parents that are asking me or giving me info that we have to request just to get homework done. Guys, this is nuts. And I know we're not alone. If you guys want to jump on Facebook and go poke around on the forums, we're not alone in this. This is a consistent issue with disability services in this school. I'm at the point where I have a neurological test being started in February to find out if she has ADHD and dyslexia. Like, this isn't like nonsense. You guys are taking this like it's a joke. I don't want to go down an attorney route, but that's where you guys are starting to push me. If you think that I'm going to sit here and be quiet on the forums on Facebook, and I hate Facebook, believe me, just as much as you people up here hate it, I absolutely hate it, okay? But I will make a stink of this, because if I have to pull her out of the school district, that doesn't really matter to me.
but no other parent should have to sit here and deal with this crap. And I want an answer on the communication part. I've asked you, Superintendent Adams. You sit here on all these emails, Middleman, I know you're leaving, but you're on these emails also, and the Board of Ed is also on these emails. Principal Farrell is ignoring and dancing around I know, you're going to cut me off because I mentioned her name.
Well,
The
because
principal
the
is
truth is-
dancing around my facts of lack of communication. Why is no one answering to anybody about communication issues in this school district? Crickets, I know. I don't work 2 jobs to come here and deal with this crap. 12:30 at night, I'm writing an email.
Someone's going to reach out to you because I find it disturbing. This whole entire board I know finds it disturbing. And sometimes special ed, things fall through the cracks. It's not an
No,
excuse.
no.
It's not an excuse. It's next to the name. Wait, excuse me. Excuse me. Stop. It's an explanation. It's an explanation. And if you don't like it.
Okay, all right, hold
Sir.
on. So if there's an
Sir,
explanation,
I
I
want to see your
want that
child get the help
explanation.
she needs. I've heard stories like this before in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It's upsetting. This is not my field, but when we hear something like this, we find it
Yeah,
upsetting,
special ed
and I
feels
want
the
it
cops, I got it.
directed, and the superintendent's going to take care of it. So
But
please.
we're going to look into it. You have my word that this will be taken care of. If it's the last thing that we do, we will make
No,
sure.
it's one thing. My daughter's
that
out of this
Not just your
school.
child, but every child that needs to be checked out gets the services they need.
Yeah, my daughter's out of the school in a year, and
And
she's
I
into the
believe,
middle
I
school.
didn't know who you are,
But-
but I have a
I
feeling
know.
that I did speak to
I know.
your wife.
Yep.
So I'm telling you, we are going to look into it. It's just that we're not allowed to speak about people
I
and
understand.
schools, just for privacy, but I understand how, your frustration. I have been where you are with my own child. So
Yep.
I know what you're talking about. And like I said, I promise you, we will look into it. I promise you.
No, I get it. I just, it's a known fact with this district, and it continues to happen repeatedly every time you ask online. Why is it such a huge problem with you guys to get this department under control? And it's different between schools. Your schools that are performing the evaluation out of a different school have been wonderful in answering our questions. One even took all her own time and spent a god-long email, 4 pages worth, of getting us the information that we've asked repeatedly for out of our own school. And magically, it just appears. I don't understand. Get your people together, sit them all in a room, and figure out a protocol. It's that simple. It's written rules and regulations. I don't know why that's complicated. Thank you.
Okay, number 17. Number 17.
All right, it goes back to this whole thing about the no response on the emails or the phone calls. Linda Adams, I called your office twice, left messages. I've also sent 2 emails, no responses. I did do that link that you sent us on that mandate to Governor Hochul. Has anybody else done it and got the response? Okay. Well, let's just say this is so generic, it's not even funny. So she's obviously they're not even considering what we're saying in response to this vax mandate. Thank you very much for your email. As New York State's 57th governor, I look forward to working together to rebuild our communities and continue to move our great state forward. Over the past 7 years, I have traveled throughout the state and continue to be inspired by the strength, diversity, and perseverance of New Yorkers. I promise to do everything I can every single day to create a stronger, safer future for you, our families, and our communities, and to make government a force for good once again. Thank you again for writing and for helping to make New York the beautiful and diverse state it is. It is with great honor to serve you as we lead the way forward. Sincerely, Governor Hochul. So, yeah, I'm just talking here. All right. All right, other thing. I have a question. Are you going to fight for our children? If this mandate does happen, what are we going to do with our kids? I need to know if they tell us, oh, they're putting in this vaccine mandate, I need to know what I'm doing with my child. How is my child finishing this school year considering he already went for a few months? We need answers. We need to know, are you going to let them finish the school year? Are you going to let them finish remotely? Or is my child going to be told, oh, guess what, you're dropped out, repeat your grade again? Because I got news for you, that will not happen. So we need answers. As parents, as a community, as a school district, you guys need to do your job and you need to answer us because we need to know. The communication thing, like I said, you sent out that email. The principals and the teachers and assistant principals had no clue about it. They were clueless. I got, oh, maybe it's a false email. I have to check into it and get back to you. They checked into it, got back to me, and they're like, oh my God, thank you, because we had no clue this was even sent out. How is that possible? You are the Board of Education. These are your principals and your assistant principals and teachers, and no one has a clue that you're sending out that email? How is that possible? Don't you think they should be the first ones to know that you're sending this out? Because parents are going to call and they're going to question and they want answers? Wouldn't that make sense? You look at us like you have no answers for us. How do you think we feel as parents that we're entrusting you for our children, our precious children, okay? And you obviously are dropping the ball or just don't give a crap or whatever it is, but someone needs to.
Number 18. Number 19.
Thank you for allowing us to facilitate our peaceful protest. I just want to start with that. Our protest of Bill A8378 on November 9th. We did have a very successful event in which we were able to donate 14 bags of sneakers to the RMS PTA for their sneaker drive. So thank you for allowing that, and thank you to the community for taking part in that. There are many children that will be leaving the district. I have a few questions regarding the contracts of Dr. Adams, and I know, Mr. Middleman, you're leaving, but unfortunately for you, you're on this email. According to an email from July 8th at 9:55 a.m., Mrs. Incerillo, secretary, sent an email with the subject, RE, more FB posts, which suggests this was an ongoing conversation. The email contained the following statement. This is the article Jackie DiLorenzo shared on that packed Facebook page. So my question is there any part of the contracts that say you are to spy on parents in their social media groups, or maybe it's part of Mrs. Incerillo's job description to spy on parents and report back to you, Dr. Adams, and you are on there too, Mr. Middleman. I mean, I don't know why you care so much. I'm just a mom with a very small voice in the community. Do you have an answer? Okay. I'm also extremely disgusted that my son was targeted in school for his mesh mask. Another FOIL revealed that he was singled out by one teacher who proceeded to complain about him while he was sitting right in front of her during extra help one morning. Instead of doing the job my tax dollars pay for, she was emailing the principal to complain about him. Another FOIL revealed that 3 hours later that morning, the superintendent, that's Dr. Adams, that's you, reached out to the New York State Department of Health stating that you desperately needed help from the Department of Health because folks are wearing mesh masks in the building, and you asked if they could trigger a fine for the district. So not only did a teacher complain about my son directly in front of him, but the principal proceeded to reach out to the superintendent instead of telling the teacher to just do her job of providing extra help. And even further, Dr. Adams, you offered up a fine for the district to the Department of Health. This chain of events is absolutely appalling. The teacher needs to be reprimanded for not doing the job my taxes pay for her to do. The principal needs to be reprimanded for not reminding her she has a job to do to leave my son alone. And the Board of Education need to seriously consider whether or not you are going to renew this superintendent's contract. The next thing I want to talk about, the last thing I have to talk about, I hope I can get this in. I'm going to read an email that I obtained from another FOIL in regards to an email I sent to the district on September 7th sharing a video of a nurse discussing the massive medical experiment on children. The particular email was written on September 9th by Mr. Politano-Forno. And it states, Lee, we can't insult parents. All parents have a right to their opinions and have a say in their children's education and well-being. I don't think any of us should ever joke about child protective services. It's a very sad thing to see when some children go through that the general public may never see. I have had to rush children to hospitals and arrest parents or family members of a child. I know you may have just emailed that in jest, but in reality, but it really isn't even remotely comparable, or something we as board members should joke about. While I respect many of your opinions on mask wearing or not, I respect Mrs. DiLorenzo, that's me, for sharing what she has shared. She is passionate about how she feels. We should be answering these parents or having someone answer them collectively. So Lee, what could you have possibly said in an email prior to that about me and or my children to warrant such a response from Ms. Napolitano-Furno? I am left assuming that you're suggesting, whether you said it in jest or not, that I be reported to CPS for advocating for my children's constitutional rights and medical freedom. Am I taking it out of context? Would you care to clarify or perhaps release the emails so that you could provide true transparency to the district? Do you have an answer for us?
No.
No answer. So then the district is left to assume that you like to talk about parents and state that they should be reported to CPS. Me and everybody else who advocates for their children's rights and their medical freedom.
If
That's
what you're
disgraceful.
making an assumption, go ahead, make that
Assumption, then release the email. Release your email to prove that's not what you said. Have a good night.
Okay. Number 20. Number 20.
She tried to foil your email, Lee. It's completely redacted. Jackie's email, Jackie Napolitano-Furno, is completely clear. It's completely obvious you actually joked around, or whatever the hell it is, suggesting calling Child Protective Services on my sister because she sent you a video of a nurse. Are you kidding me?
I doubt I would say Child
Really?
Protective Services.
You know what? We
I
have the
know I wouldn't.
redacted email. Let it go. Unredact it. Release the email.
I don't have it.
You have it. You have it. We have a copy of it blacked out. Can you guys just make me fix that? Can you make me a copy of that? Because I actually- I'm going to look into it.
Yep.
But
Yep. We know what you said, Lee.
at least you know that
We
I
what
do
you said.
defend parents.
We know what you said, okay? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. She just has a different opinion of you. That's not a reason to call Child Protective Services. You don't call Child Protective Services because somebody is advocating for their children. That's insane. You have to be insane. And you should step down as president immediately. And every one of you board members up there should demand her removal.
Number 20. Did I say 20? 21.
Good evening again. Just some closing thoughts. I heard a lot tonight. You know, I was here for that email about the vaccine mandate. It appears like this is definitely like a one-way type of conversation. You guys are here listening to us, and then, but tonight when you guys are home at your own families and just think about it, I want you to think about these people that are here. Look at everyone's face. We're all human. We all have our problems. We all have our concerns. And one of the things is that, what are you going to do for us? But I really, ask yourself that. If you have the ability to do something, to do it. One thing that I think you could do is that email that you sent, I actually asked other parents if they received that email, and nobody knew about that. They said, we never knew that it was the governor's intent. So I found it obvious that, I found it odd that we were the only school district that sent such an email. So to me, it seems like they're trying to gather data from this particular district about this mandate and to see how us parents feel about it. But I think that if you really want to do the will of the people, tonight think about it. You have the power as a superintendent. I never met the superintendent, but anyway, just that you have the ability to send this to other school districts to really have the people, the will of the people, which you said in the email, to give their response. Listen, we're all trying to collectively gather our thoughts together and get the right thing, the right path for everybody to be happy with. And I think the will of the people, everyone should get that email. Everyone.
Number 22.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Margaret, and I have 3 children in the district, and I came to the school and graduated from Connecticut. I'm really concerned about the email that was sent about the mandated vaccines for children. I came here from Poland, from communist Poland in 1984, and we came here just like any other immigrant for the opportunity and better education for their children. That's why my family came here. And to deny my 3 healthy children possibly an education just because they don't get a vaccine that they don't need, I think is unconscionable. We're all here because we care about the education of our children, and it really means a lot to me. And it really, reading that email was very scary to me because it's taking control of our children's health, which I grew up with. When I was 6 years old in Poland, my parents and my grandparents had no control over it. I was in a gym when I was 6 years old, and there was nurses, and we were all lined up, and the school was giving us vaccines without our parents' consent or anything. And I will never forget that day. There were kids crying. We were by ourselves, just 100 6-year-old kids, and we were just told to sit in the chair, got the vaccine, move along, go back to class. And I didn't come to this country to have that done to my children. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that's my experience. And that letter, that email, that this is a possibility that my children will be denied an education if they don't get a vaccine, that's really concerning to me. Thank you.
Hi again. So this is about the mask and vaccine mandates. So first I want to address the appalling behavior of a board president listening to Jackie and then circling back to the last meeting where you intentionally left out under God in the pledge. Lee, you really should step down as board president. You don't deserve this position. These mandates are, and if you haven't done your research, I have, they're a direct violation of every single law put in place to protect us. I'm sorry I can't breathe. I have a lung condition, but I don't have a medical release because it's no one's business. So these laws are a direct violation of the Nuremberg Code, the Constitution, the Declaration of Helsinki, the Declaration of Human Rights, and more. All of those are put in place to protect us. These mask mandates are absolutely ridiculous. On the box itself, it says, this mask does not prevent the spread of coronavirus. What are we doing? I mean, honestly, what are we doing? Our kids are forced to inhale toxic air that has been proven by doctors who, for some reason, are being silenced. There's a whole side of, there's 10,000 plus doctors and nurses trying to get these stories out of people that have had reactions to these vaccines, and they're all being swept under the carpet. And for you to suggest, even in jest, that a parent should have CPS called on them, call it on me. My daughter will never get this vaccine. They will have to kill me before they give my daughter this vaccine. I'm not anti-vax, I'm anti-COVID vax, because this vaccine has had more deaths than all of our vaccines in the last 10 years put together. That should make you stop and think for 1 second. Lee, you really need to step down. You are not qualified to be president of this board.
Number 24. This is the last speaker.
This district has to come together and understand what's going on here and start to see it for what it is. I've been on the board. I've seen things that have happened. Okay? We've hired people that asked for a certain salary at 150, let's say, and we gave them more money. We gave them more. Where does that happen? We have a superintendent that wouldn't let us know, hey, don't do that. We're keeping a superintendent here that spends money and tells us this is what somebody makes somewhere else. Let's do it this way. The money we spend, and I will bring facts and start to show everybody what's going on in this district. But the only way anything's going to happen is if we stick together and make a big voice about it, and a stink. Because Lee has a lot of fans out there that just keeps voting her in. But let the people know the truth. For someone to come to an office and discriminate against me because I had a different opinion is disgusting. That should never happen to anybody, okay? There's certain things. For a superintendent to say, sorry for what happened, it shouldn't have never happened, but then try to hide it. It's not right. We need people to start to come together and do what's right. Everything that's been said tonight, you guys deserve it. I have children, they left this district. But I feel for you, because there's no way you should be able to tell my children what they need. And you guys have to start to learn how to stick up for us. Stop hiding. Do something about it. Stop hiding. There's nothing wrong with going against what your group says. Stand up, show some integrity, okay? There's nothing wrong with it. It makes you a better person. At the end, you'll sleep better. Thank you.
I'd like to wish every... Okay, make a motion to adjourn? Need a motion?
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to all. Have a safe and happy, healthy New Year.